just gone 6:30 a.m. and we've got some plans for this morning to get an early start and make a dent. We've got a few things we've got to do. We've got to put the scope cam on the 2250, we've got to put air in the air rifles, we've got to load up magazines, make some coffee, of course, and then we're going to head out. And we've chosen winter to come out and do the shooting, or sort of this time leading into winter, because firstly it gets a little bit drier, which means that the monkeys have to move around a bit more to find food. But secondly, in the winter mornings, as soon as the sun hits the trees, those monkeys are up in the tops of the trees looking for sun. So we're hoping that will give us a better opportunity. Generally in the summer, you've got a very short window to shoot, and then when it heats up, they're all in the shade. So hopefully being out here in the winter will make it slightly easier. But the only way to find out is to hit the road, find a few hunting spots and get going.
We are barely out of camp when we spot exactly what we're looking for. A naughty grey monkey face watching us from the top of an acacia tree.
You've got to be kidding me.
Unfortunately though, the scope cam keeps shutting itself off and we miss our opportunity. That's the second scope cam in 2 days that's given up on us, and we're going to have to find out the root of this problem if we're going to get good footage this week.
This new setup in the XRS chassis is so nice for stuff like this. So if we need to move around, put this bag on like a tree or on a rock or something, we can do that very easily, and it just balances. The only problem is now the monkeys that we've seen have seemingly moved off. So perfect position, perfect setup, but we're just gonna have to wait for them.
When hunting monkeys, the key is to keep moving until you locate a troop. And the best time to do this is right now, when the sunlight starts to hit the valleys. Monkeys just can't resist the warmth of the sun on a crisp winter morning, and all that we have to do is to be patient. On our way back down the valley, we stop off in front of a series of rock structures to look for movement. It's not just the monkeys that are active at this time of the morning, it's everything. And we watch a group of kudus walking up the hill before our attention is drawn towards something a little bit smaller.
No wind right now this morning. The monkeys still haven't really shown themselves aside from that one group we saw. But we've just come to a spot now where across the valley, up at quite a steep angle, there's a whole lot of dassies. Just as the sun's hitting those rocks, they're just sitting up there. So we're going to have a go at them with the air rifle. It looks to be probably close to 200 meters or so, maybe even further. But let's see what the impact can do. Got a little tripod set up here. Let's get a bit of a range on them there. Yeah, 196. It's a long way off. Nope, no idea where that went.
Upon closer inspection of the slow-mo footage, you can just barely see the dassie camouflaged against the rocks, and you can also see the slug impact the rock about a mil to the right. Elevation was perfect, and the impact was properly zeroed, so I can only think that there must have been some wind up across the valley that I couldn't feel at my position. As we make our way back towards camp though, we suddenly get our chance as the monkey in the sunlight takes a bullet to the chest. Another one appears in an acacia tree, and I just barely see enough of him to be able to place a shot. That's 2 for the 22-50. The first was obviously a very clean, ethical shot. The second shot was much harder to see, even at 240 frames a second. We'll just have to go and look for them.
One of the hardest things is actually figuring out which trees they were in, because everything looks different when you're walking trying to retrieve them than when you're actually shooting them. When you're shooting them, you just see the treetops, and then when you come walk here, everything just looks totally different. So yeah, we're starting to find that first monkey, but I'm sure we'll get him. I know he was in a slightly higher bush, so we should look at the taller ones, and I'm sure we'll find him.
Monkey number 1 is deep in a bush and basically irretrievable. but maybe we'll have better luck with monkey number 2.
I won't lie, it's been a little bit of a frustrating start. Scope cam's not working and all that. We're actually heading back to camp now to try and sort all those problems out, so we're not continually being frustrated over the next few days. Hopefully it's just something like a faulty memory card, or maybe the battery's not working properly, something like that we can just fix. But look at the bright side, look at this weather. There's zero wind, it's absolutely stunning, and we get to be out here enjoying this. So yeah, I think that's a lesson to be learned. Just be positive, even if we don't get the footage that we want, or that you want. Just enjoy the moment and soak it all in.
Aha, there's monkey number 2. So yes, we did get him. And he's literally 20 meters away from the kitchen at our camp. We may have just prevented a burglary. But it's not over yet. We catch a glimpse of some escapees trying to flee up the side of the mountain, and although I don't have my scope cam fitted, I set up on the tripod and prepare to take a shot.
A whole troop of monkeys in that bush. They were right here in the camp. Just fled up the mountain. Okay, see him? Got him. Well, this is monkey number 2 from that group. Big male monkey. And that's the camp directly behind us. So what happened here was this troop, we'd seen them earlier this morning try to take a shot with the air rifle, and then they must have moved towards the camp. Maybe they were on their way to the camp to look for some snacks here. But yeah, ended up smashing one of them up in the trees. That way, which we couldn't find, and then managed to locate this one beneath this tree, and then managed to shoot another one as the troop was moving up the cliff. It's sitting right there at the top of the hill. So yeah, but this is why we shoot them. Camp is right there. They were obviously coming here to see if they could get in and steal some of our food. You've seen in past episodes how they do that, and that's the reason why we shoot them. They are the grey menace. They cause problems, and we need to take them out and keep their numbers down, especially these troops that get brave and come towards the camp and where people live, stealing people's food, stealing eggs, all that stuff. Those are the ones that need to be taught a lesson. So hopefully this troop, the ones that escaped, they've learned their lesson. Hopefully they won't come back. But yeah, good to get a nice big male monkey down.
We are able to diagnose the scope cam problem, thankfully. Turns out it was just a faulty battery, and we're soon out once again. The wind has picked up a bit, but we're not going to let that stop us. We plan to shoot more monkeys today, but on the way to our next monkey spot, we decide to just stop off at the grazing lands to see if there are any ground squirrels about. And what we see paints a pretty clear picture.
Well, this field behind us here used to be the source of many ground squirrels. When we first started doing these Oxwagon Diaries episodes, I came out here and we probably shot like 30 in a day. But when that drought came, sort of 2016 to 2018, round about there, it just completely wiped all of them out. There just wasn't enough natural food. But their population is starting to rebound. In fact, we've just seen quite a lot running around. So we're gonna take the impact and the tripod, just go walk around this field and see if we can find a spot to set the tripod up and maybe get a couple shots off. Okay, rangefinder is telling me 85 meters, 1.3 mils. Dead. Perfect. That's awesome. This little module saves me so much time, because to have to reach here, find it in the rangefinder, which is quite a wide field of view, get the elevation and windage, and then put it away, find it in my scope. It's doable, but that little bit of time lost definitely makes a difference. So it's nice to have the module right here, pressure switch on the side, can just with my left thumb just get a range, gives you my elevation windage, and I'm actually just holding for the shot because it's a little bit easier. One step ahead would be to have the Hyper 7, which as I range, it actually just it shifts a flashing dot and tells me where to hold. But unfortunately the Hyper 7 with its eye relief and field of view it just doesn't work with any conventional scope cam, and obviously the point of being out here is to show you guys what we're up to, so we want to get these shots on camera. But yeah, 85 meters, hold 1.3 mils, put him down. There's a bit of a breeze, so I'm kind of still a little bit unsure of how much to hold in the slight breeze, but let's go fetch one and see how we did. Yeah, it just took off the top of his head there, so that's pretty much where I was holding. I was holding for the head, around about 1.3 mils. Boom, perfect. So good to get that one down.
This is a pretty large area with quite a few different families of ground squirrels scattered around the lands, and we spot a particularly large group of holes against one of the fence lines. We set up within range of the holes and we wait. And when we get a chance, man, does that little 40 grain slug strike like the hammer of Thor.
Absolutely smoked it. I know this might start sounding like an Element commercial, but this is the first time we're actually here on this property with the Helix HD binos. We did have them in the prior seasons, but we couldn't actually use them and show them because they weren't announced yet. But yeah, we launched these earlier this year. What makes these special is not just the binos themselves, but what comes with them. We actually include this chest pack, which is really high quality. It's got a magnetic cover. You can zip it up if you want to weather seal it, but in a situation like this where you're hunting, maybe you got a rifle in your one hand and you need to quickly access the binos, you can do so. They're attached here, so you can let them go if you need to access the rifle or anything, but you can spot what you want to spot, put them away, and it's kind of a one-hand operation. So this is nothing new. There's a lot of companies making really good chest packs, but we are including this for free with the binos, which is something pretty unique. At this price point, you're not going to find many other units like that, so we're pretty stoked to have these out and available. That's a little bit graphic. 40 grain javelin basically popped his eye right out. I don't know which side was the entrance and which side was the exit, but we checked the footage and there was just brains everywhere. So that's what you want to see from a hollow point. Proper expansion even on a small creature like this. So yeah, job done. And you can see this one has made a massive hole. Lots of holes around here. I bet there's a whole bunch more out here, but we'll probably just have to come through a little bit later once everything's calmed down and see if we can get some more. But yeah, another ground squirrel down, job done.
We're only about a third of the way through these fields, so the plan is to just push on a little bit further, and with the wind starting to pump now, we switch to the 22-250 in the hope that she'll get some action. We spot this group of warthogs, and normally the farmer does allow us to shoot a pig or two if we get a chance. Their numbers also need to be controlled. However, the camper on the back of my truck means that I don't have any way to transport the carcasses to the cold room, so these get a free pass the whole week. The 22-250 is capable of really reaching out if it needs to, so we set up on a high point and we wait. You may remember a few years ago when we sat on a hill and blitzed ground squirrels from hundreds of meters away. It's a lot of fun, but ironically, all of our opportunities with the 22-250 seem to be coming from relatively close this time around.
Well, the 22-250 was developed for this exact reason, taking out little varmints. We haven't had any ground squirrels on these fields here for probably like 4 years, maybe 5 years. It's been a good few years since I've actually come out here and managed to get some. And the last time we came out here, we came with the 22-250 and Luke and Anton, when Anton was still small, and we just absolutely cleaned these things up and smoked them. But yeah, unfortunately the drought kind of wiped them all out. They're starting to rebound, and this 22-250 is doing the business in its new chassis, which is working great. We started off with the air rifle down in that field, but the wind's just picked up now to like 12 miles per hour. It's a little bit too much for the air rifle in this open environment. And although I love using the air rifle, especially at closer ranges, the the 22-50 will just allow us to kind of get those longer distance shots if we need to. This one wasn't that far. It was probably a little bit under 100 meters, but put the crosshairs on his head, and the bullet hit kind of at the base of the head and neck here and just turned him inside out. So it's done what it's designed to do. I know people will say, oh, why would you shoot little ground squirrels with a centerfire? But this is literally what the 22-50 was developed for, shooting prairie dogs and coyotes and rock chucks and stuff like that. It's a vomiting rifle. So it's doing what it's designed to do, and I absolutely love coming out here and shooting these things. It's so much fun. But yeah, wind is pumping. Let's hope that it does calm down a bit later. But for now, with this rifle, anything within a few hundred meters is not going to last very long.
After waiting for quite a while, at one spot we decide to move on towards the next field. This Leophoto tripod is great in that it provides me with a sturdy, elevated shooting position and therefore greatly extends my effective range. The rifle is capable of shooting tiny little groups, but if you can't keep still as a shooter, you severely limit your effective range. It takes some time before another one emerges, but when it does, it gets launched into orbit like a rocket. Oh. Sensitive viewers, look away now. This can be graphic. But remember, the goal is to be as humane as possible. There is no such thing as overkill when your goal is to remove a pest without causing suffering.
I have to blow this one. Sorry about that.
We're pretty happy with our excursion into the grazing lands. Every ground squirrel matters, even if it takes some patience, but we're very keen to move on because the next spot we want to visit is like Disneyland for monkeys. The irrigated parts of the valley are a stark contrast to the dry yellow grass surrounding them, and where there are crops and a water source, there will be monkeys. The river and the canals that run through here provide irrigation for these lucerne fields, and if you wait long enough, you're bound to spot a monkey or two, making the dash from the bushes along the river and out onto the lands to grab a mouthful of food. We catch a large troop of about 20 to 30 monkeys sprinting across the field about 100 meters away, and I have to be very quick with my trigger finger.
Behind me here is a monkey hotspot that needs to be controlled regularly. We've got the Great Fish River running right in the middle here with a dairy on that side and a strip of lucerne on this side, which is irrigated by the river. And this is an absolute hotspot for monkeys, firstly because they've got fresh drinking water down there in the river, they've got shelter with all the big trees, and then they've got food. This lucerne over here, the dairy on that side, and there's also fields of other crops like mealies and nuts and all kinds of things around this area. So we came up here to this overlook area. We saw a troop of monkeys sitting on a fence, and we basically waited for them. They jumped down the fence into the bush, and then as they tried to cross this lucerne field, I hammered 3 of them. So we're going to try and make a mental note of where they are, and then we're going to try drive in through the gate all the way down here and see if we can recover them. But once again, frantic shooting, 22-50 doing the business, and yeah, I know we got 2 of them down, solid shots. The third one, I may have, he may have moved under the fence as I try to shoot him. But yeah, frantic shooting, the way I love it, and hopefully we can go recover them. Here's one monkey. Here's another monkey. These 2 are a little bit smaller, obviously not quite as smart as the bigger ones. And they sat here by the fence, and we're looking back, waiting for the rest of them. The smart monkeys disappear deep in, and they know that that's how they get safe. Sometimes you just got to get them while they're still dumb. yeah, these two obviously haven't learned the full dangers of the farmers and what they can do, but that's too few monkeys to create problems, so happy to get those down. The big boy though is down that way. This one I saw from a mile away. Obviously the troublemaker because he's got a short tail. Obviously he's showing that he's either been in fights with other males before, or he's been, you know, in some sort of confrontation with other animals or something like that. But yeah, the one with the missing tail, I saw him running across the field. I actually saw a whole bunch of them, and then this guy was by far the biggest in the group, so I kind of focused all my attention towards him, saw him bounding over this long lucerne, and when he stood up, I took my chance and nailed him. And yeah, good sized monkey, really good sized monkey, right there in the sort of neck shoulder junction. Kind of a center of mass shot, but yeah, this one was really close. This is only about maybe 85 meters from where we shot from, so just put the crosshairs basically on the neck slash head and dropped him. So 3 monkeys down, 3 shots, nice and frantic. That was awesome.
Well, Monkey Disneyland has been fun. Maybe not for the monkeys on this particular day, but most certainly for us. With a gorgeous afternoon ahead of us, we make the decision to slowly head back to camp a little bit early and just wind down for the evening. With perfect sunny days like this forecast for the rest of the week, there is absolutely no need to rush anything.
It really doesn't get better than this. Weather is just insanely perfect. There's not a single breath of wind right now. We can hear all the doves calling. The moon is out. Sun's about to go down, and got this orange light falling over camp. Temperature's great, slightly cooled down, and we're about to make a fire. So yeah, it's going to be another good evening here at camp. We're probably going to wrap it up fairly early tonight so we can get another early morning tomorrow, because that seemed to be quite fruitful. You know, we saw quite a few monkeys quite early on this morning. Yeah, we'll build a fire. Well, Nicole's made that her job. I'll maybe send the drone up and get some of this beautiful last light footage of the sun going down, and we'll enjoy the evening together. In traditional Oxwagon Diaries fashion, we are ending the day with some meat on the fire. In this case, some pork belly ribs, and then we've got some garlic bread over here on the coals, just to round things off. And let's not forget the good old Windhoek beer. Once again, thanks so much for following along on this adventure. It started off a bit frustrating, but we managed to get some good action towards the end of the day, and I'm really impressed with that little 22-50 in its new configuration. It's performing amazingly. I love the fact that we got an arc rail on the bottom. I love the fact that we can add a little bit of weight to get better scope cam footage when we're not like perfectly steady. Just reduces that recoil a little bit, and overall just an awesome system. So hopefully we get to see much more of it in the future. Tomorrow, hoping that it's not quite as windy as today, so we can go out and get some air rifle footage. We're probably going to head out as the sun hits the rocks and try to get some dassies tomorrow, because so far we haven't got a single dassie. And then we've also been invited back to the neighbor's property, and we're going to see if we can get a few monkeys there. They've cleared out some new parts of bush for the fields, and apparently they've got a lot of monkey problems there, so we're going to head out once again with a 22-50 and see if we can get some more monkeys. But yeah, we'll start off the day hopefully getting some dassies down, and hope to see you there. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing, We'll see you in the next one.